Hey, hey, mama friends, and welcome to the All You Mama interviews, where we bring you experts to help you put yourself first without the guilt. I am Megan Q. Barrett of allyouMama.com, and I certainly don't have all the answers, but I know people with them. And today, our expert is Kim Perez of Root and Branch Nutrition. And Kim is a functional nutritionist helping moms and moms to be. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I am so excited that you are here. And we have some questions from you and for you, and then some questions from the All You Mama Mamas. So I'm just going to jump right in it. And can you tell me, what exactly is a functional nutritionist?
Yes. I think there are a lot of different interpretations. People might be familiar with the term functional medicine. Functional nutrition is within the same realm. Of course, we're not diagnosing or treating disease, but we're looking at the full picture. We're looking at root causes where, the word nutritionist can mean very different things, and different nutritionists practice differently and focus on different things. But most people tend to think of somebody to tell me what to eat or how much to eat. And a functional nutritionist dives a lot deeper into that. I want to look at, how is the food you're eating interacting with your body? What are some, deeper potential imbalances or weaknesses in your body that are impacting how your blood sugar is being balanced, or how your hormones or your digestion is working, with the goal of being personalizing your nutrition, but also your supplements, your other, lifestyle habits, to make sure that your body is functioning the best that it can. So using nutrition in that very holistic realm.
Yeah, so not just like calories in, calories out.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. And I know that in Root and Branch, you talk a lot about getting down to the root cause. So what do you mean by root cause?
I think in our society and even conventional medical model, we're very used to just treating the symptom or treating the diagnosis. And also we're used to instant gratification, or we're accustomed to that, and that's what we want. So that can often come with slapping a band-aid on something that is a deeper issue, whether that is, and some of the issues that I see, and even things that I have in my own history, like really irregular painful periods. What was the answer to that? Put you on birth control without finding out what's causing that. Fatigue is something I see a lot, working with new moms, excessive and prolonged hair loss. There are some things that we're just oh, that's a normal piece, and you just have to suffer from it, or we're just slapped with a medication or some sort of diagnosis without getting an answer as to why it's happening in the first place. So that's why I like to help women find that we find it together, and we then work to strengthen and rebalance and replenish whatever's going on that's causing symptoms, because it's a continuum. It's something that's going on that's causing symptoms, and then a collection of symptoms becomes disorder, and then eventually disease and diagnosis. We can really take those steps back to find out what's going on at the root of your body, and let's address that so that everything else works a little bit better.
And I mean, I know from my past too, that's not the work that I want to do. Everyone wants that 8-minute abs and stuff like that, but that's not what's going to get you those consistent, sustainable results either.
Yeah. And there's definitely a balance. It depends on the woman that I'm working with. Some women come to me and they are dealing with really intense symptoms. They just feel terrible. And there's, it goes hand in hand. That's where I utilize food, I utilize nutritional supplements. There are things that we can provide the body for additional support while we work on addressing the root cause, instead of, something that's going to make the issue worse. So for example, I'm thinking if somebody is exhausted, well, the first thing we tend to reach for is caffeine and sugar, which can actually deplete us and leave us more tired in the long run. There are a million different potential root causes of fatigue. So while we're working to find those and address those, and those things take time to basically, teach the body how to create more energy and create that environment for the body, There are supplements. There might be key nutrients that we're missing. There might be a digestive weakness and we're not digesting and absorbing our food properly. So we can bring in supports to help the body in that healing process. And a lot of times that helps us feel better. So it's pairing that root cause where it takes a little time and some of that more, I don't like to say instant gratification, but seeing a little bit quicker results to help, support the body.
Definitely. I love that. Got a little short-term and long-term going on there.
Yeah, exactly. It's never just one thing.
So the main question that I got from the mamas was basically, getting to my pre-baby body or getting back to my pre-weight. So instead of just like, what are some ways to get there? I want to kind of approach it from like, where do you think that guilt and shame come from that so many moms feel, from anywhere from, I had like some postpartum moms of 3 months all the way up to almost 10 years old saying the same exact question, like trying to get back to like the old me pre-baby. So where do you think that guilt and shame come from, and how do you work with people on that level too?
Yeah. So this is a loaded question and I talk about it a lot because I think that none of us are to blame for wanting this. I think that it's a combination of societal pressures, right? How do we measure success as a new mom in our society? We're not nurturing new moms and caring for new moms. I mean, you can see it in like our conventional medical model of 6-week appointment and then you're done. Bye. Pelvic floor therapy, like these things aren't standard. We just don't value the health of moms and it becomes all about baby, right? So there is this way that we measure new mom's success about how fast she quote unquote bounces back after she has a baby. And that's, have a baby, go through this immense life change, this immense body change and mind change and everything, and then make it look like you didn't do it. Like that's essentially what the answer is, right? We want to see like, oh, wow, look at that mom. She's super mom. She can juggle everything and she's back at boot camp and she fits in her jeans again. Like these are the ways that we're measuring success. And it's a cultural societal influence. I think that there's also this need, and I work with moms through a lot of mental and emotional stuff as well, but I often refer to therapy because there are so many times that we as new moms struggle with the like identity shifts of motherhood. And for so many women, it's that desperation to feel like themselves again, where they're changed. And sometimes we have to acknowledge that change and work through that. And there's a grieving process and some acceptance that has to happen. But many of us just automatically go like, well, if I can just fit into all my clothes and feel like my pre-baby self again, then I won't be struggling. When in reality, it goes a lot deeper than that. So there's those two influences. And then I also do believe that there's this big diet culture influence as well, where we're told like we can easily manipulate our bodies and just diet and exercise more. Where those things are difficult, especially as a new mom, those things are difficult to even do. And B, because of all the physical changes that we go through and even the emotional changes that we go through, in order to reach a comfortable, happy weight and healthfully let go of the weight we gained during pregnancy, we do have to look at it from a root cause approach, right? Like so many moms are so nutritionally depleted after having babies. Their cortisol stress hormone is high because they're stressed and they're not sleeping. There's, often thyroid issues that can come up and other autoimmune conditions that can come up. So it's not a simple equation as just, okay, get pregnant, have a baby, you gain this weight, and then bam, it's going to fall off because you're not pregnant anymore.
Yeah.
Your body has gone through a change. So we have to work on really, really nourishing and rebalancing and supporting health postpartum more than ever so that moms can feel comfortable and feel good in their bodies and reach whatever goals they're, set after.
I love that. I love that you said about therapy too, because I think like not even just moms, just like people in general, you just need like someone that isn't in your inner circle to just kind of listen and not necessarily give advice. Because if you go to like your partner or your friends and they're just gonna be like, oh, well, you look great, and they're trying to help. And bless them. But that's not really necessarily what you need to hear. Sometimes you just need to talk things out
Hmm.
and not get the advice back. And so I am a huge proponent of therapy, not only for new moms, but
For
everyone in
everyone.
general.
Yes. I very much am too. And my own personal journey with therapy is that I feel like there were various times in my life where I felt like maybe I could benefit, but like nothing's really wrong. So like
Mm,
what, and then I got to a point where I was like, nothing needs to be wrong. Like, sure, I had my own struggles postpartum that I sought therapy for, but then I was like, I just really enjoy this. Like, I really enjoy this
mhm.
process, and like nothing needs to be wrong to need help. I think that that's
Yeah.
another kind of societal influence that we have on us. Like, it's a weakness to seek therapy and to seek help. Whereas, sometimes like you do need to just have a completely objective standpoint and view on things that you're going through and somebody to listen.
Yeah. And one thing I want to add to that, because I had just talked to the village moms about that, having like, there's these societal expectations too, which I mean, obviously the expectations on moms are like out of control in general. But I always mention that no one can make you feel a certain way unless you feel that way. But if someone's like, you're a bad mom or you're not doing it right, and I'm like, oh my God, crap, I don't think I'm a great mom, I'm not doing this right, then that's how it's going to affect me too.
Hmm.
So, what I'm getting at with that whole thing is basically the personal responsibility on it too, because there's no way we can change society, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there are changes you can make, but in general, but you can change yourself.
Yeah. And that's what I like to also, on the contrary to, I don't want women to feel bad about wanting to lose weight after having babies. I
Mhm.
think that like how you feel, just like you said, if it's coming from outside pressure to, look a certain way or whatever the case might be, but if it's coming from the inside where you want to feel better and you want to feel good
Mhm.
in your body, sometimes that is okay. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's always okay, whatever your goal is, but that's why I like to work with moms on that deep level because we can peel those layers apart. Okay, for example, you're 6 months postpartum and you're struggling to lose the last 20 pounds that you gained. And if you lost that weight, but you still were dealing with some of the same symptoms that you're dealing with now, like, would you be happy? And
Mhm.
sometimes it really isn't about the weight. And oftentimes, 90% of the time, when we address the underlying issues, maybe she's, not sleeping well and she's living off coffee and not eating enough food and she's exhausted. When we work to fix those things and get the body functioning better, then the weight can kind of stabilize on its own. So it goes hand in hand. Yes,
Yeah.
it's valid however you want to feel
Mhm.
in your body, but is that the main issue? Is it something else going on and that's just like a manifestation of it?
Yeah, it's like what's your real why?
Yeah.
Because most people, when you step on the scale and you see a certain number, it's not all of a sudden life changing, and now you're so happy and everything, all your dreams come true, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I always think like weight loss won't fix poor body image issues. Like,
Mhm.
it's the truth. I mean, yes, there are certain, things that it might change, especially like I know I struggled with it a lot and still am. Like, not being able to fit into all of my clothes yet. Like, that
Mhm.
sucks. That's a valid thing. And so yeah, changing your body shape, that might bring some joy or whatever the case might be from that perspective. But it's like if there are deeper seated issues, if you are, whether that's mental or physical, reaching a number on the scale probably isn't going to drastically change your life.
So what would you say for this woman, say she's anywhere from, about a year postpartum to on, what would you say would be like the first step she should take if she is very serious and is like wanting to lose the weight and things like that? What should she do?
So I would say resist the pressure to diet and exercise more and deplete
Mhm.
yourself more and think about ways that you can nourish yourself more. So, nourishing yourself more meaning like making sure that you're eating enough food, that you're getting enough sleep, that you are, getting alone time and taking care of yourself in physical but also emotional ways, maybe going to therapy, doing the things that you need to do for yourself. Um, and working to like, at a year plus postpartum, maybe that is a good time to dig and see exactly what's going on, because depending on the person, like it's usually not just that, oh, you're just eating too much food and not moving enough, and that's why you
Yeah.
can't lose the weight. There's likely blood sugar and hormone things going on. Just from a general like metabolic perspective, getting an outsider's eye to assess and see what could potentially be going on, because many moms will jump into restriction of food and over exercise and make matters worse, like from a
Yeah.
hormonal perspective, even from a physical perspective, of like she hasn't taken the time to re-strengthen and rebuild her body, her pelvic floor, her core. Like going back to boot camp to burn more calories can really do a number on your body if you're, not don't have that strong foundation. So kind of resisting that narrative, nourishing your body, taking care of yourself, and getting some help.
I love that. The nourish more, like that really hit me, of like, instead of trying to eat less, nourish more. That's big. I love that. All
Yeah.
right. So when should moms, or what is your suggestion of, say a mom just got cleared at her 6-week postpartum appointment, when should moms look at like actively trying to lose weight?
I feel like this is a trick question because I would say never. Like I
Okay.
really don't think that there is a point where, because I feel that this actively trying to lose weight
Mhm.
for most moms means dieting and exercising more, where
Yeah.
that's not the answer. So from my perspective, actively trying to lose weight is doing those things to nourish yourself and take care of yourself and make sure your body is functioning optimally and doing that deeper digging. Um, so that's my answer, but I understand that people want more of a concrete answer.
No, I mean,
I would
I
say
thought that was a good answer.
I would say that, like, honestly, you have to think about how your body changed over the course of 9+ months,
Mhm.
and giving your body that grace to like rebalance for at least 9+months, 9 to 10 months. If a mom is breastfeeding, that's more depletion and asks more of the body, and also changes how our like appetites and our bodies utilize fat and all of these things. So, if a mom is breastfeeding, it might be longer, but I would say not before 9 to 10 months, unless you're feeling absolutely terrible and you are exhausted and your hair continues to fall out and your periods came back but they're miserable. Like those are all signs that you might want to do a little bit of
Mhm.
exploration to what's going on.
I mean, any of these answers are always like, it depends.
It always depends. It
It
always
depends
depends.
on you. Okay, so
Yeah.
the last question that I ask all of our experts is, what is one piece of advice that you've received that changed you or your life?
This one's tough. Because I feel like I wish there was like one shining moment that I could think about. Um, I've kind of thinking about like what's been applicable to me in my life as a mom. Um, and the phrase done is better than perfect comes up a lot for me. In my like life, in my nutrition, in my exercise, in my business too. I think a lot of us can struggle with perfectionism and trying to do it all as moms, and that can lead to like analysis paralysis, and we just don't do anything, right? Especially when it comes to like changing diet or exercise, right? We're
Mhm.
constantly seeking like what's the right diet? What's the perfect diet? Exactly how many calories and macros do I need to be eating every day? But it's like you can make small changes that add up and make impact, and you don't need to be perfect, and stressing about being perfect is probably more harmful to your health than anything else. So that is something that is like a theme in my mind all the time.
That's awesome. That's what I'm like. I always tell people, I'm like, just do something, like
Yep.
anything. Something is better than nothing. Like any action is better than no action, even if it's the wrong thing. You're moving
You're
forward.
learning. Yes. And you're learning, right? Failure is feedback. Like if you do try something and it doesn't work, you can learn from that. And it's always you're always making progress. It might just not be the progress that you're used to kind of seeing. We're used to seeing like progress is weight dropping on a scale, or pants being bigger, or even lifting more in the gym. Like those, while that's valid, sometimes you're making progress in other ways, like mentally and emotionally, just
Mhm.
doing little things. Like I work with so many moms who just like don't eat breakfast. Like start with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be complex and it doesn't need to be perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so I mean, I didn't even get to like half the questions I had on here, but we are running out of time. However, you guys can find Kim at Root and Branch Nutrition on Instagram and rootandbranchnutrition.com. And can you just kind of give us a little rundown on how you do coaching, group coaching, what people can
Hmm.
get from you?
Yeah. So I have three kind of options. One is the one-on-one work that I do, and that is I have packages that start at 4 months because again, like this is a process. So 4 to 6 months at minimum. I work with most women for a year. Um, then I have a group program that is launching in April, and I will run that. I'll be running that again in the fall, and that's a 12-week online program that has like an educational component, group component, like a community, and there's some one-on-one personalization with that as well. And then I have, my content. Like I put out a lot of content on Instagram. I have a blog. I have paid resources on my website, ebooks, webinars, and I'll be continually adding to that. So those are obviously the less expensive to even
Mhm.
free sources of
Yeah.
support that I provide.
At the very least, go follow her on Instagram because she does have some amazing content on there. So once again, it's Root
Thank
and
you.
Branch Nutrition on Instagram. And I really want to thank you for coming here. I may have to like message you the rest of my questions. Um,
Anytime. I
it
actually
went
like
so
made a bunch
fast.
of notes.
All right. Well, you have a great day, and all you mamas have a great day free of mom guilt because you deserve it.